Welcome back. All right, so some news from around the sporting world to discuss for today. Starting off with out of women's tennis, Laura Siegemund, and I did have to look her up. I'm not gonna lie. She's 35/36 years of age. Believe she's 36, just turned 36. But a tennis player that wasn't happy after her ouster from the U.S. Open because the fans booed her off the court. So I had to look that up because I know it's the U.S. Open and I know the fans can be obnoxious at times at the U.S. Open. But generally, if the fans boo somebody off the court, there's usually a reason for it. And in this case, there was. So she was playing against Coco Gauff, who is the number 8th ranked tennis player in this tournament. And so right away, she's up against it. Now, Gauff is known for being a fast server. So you have to play to the speed of the server. And Goff wasn't happy because Siegemund was taking her time. She was going over, she was, playing around with the towel, and just it is one of those things that some players take a while. They take their time. I seem to remember Jimmy Connors sort of having that to his game at times too, where he would take his time. You'd see him kind of wander around a little bit to get his wind, and you kind of got the feeling that okay, he's trying to do what he can too to knock that person off their perch. They've got all kinds of momentum. He's kind of trying to break that up. You make sure you're taking time, right? You take that time, and then you allow that serve to happen, and you're returning serve. And there's little mind games that happen in tennis matches. Honestly, it's a fascinating sport because it is one-on-one. You are getting paid by what you do, which is one of the reasons I respect tennis players. It's the same thing with golf. If you don't play well, you don't get paid. If you don't play well in tennis, you don't get paid. And so for Siegemund, I think there's some gamesmanship going on with this. Goff clearly felt that there was as well. She went and complained to the umpire, and the umpire, who had already given one penalty to Siegemund, gave her another one, which handed that game to Goff and ends up being part of the reason why Goff wins it in 3 sets. She won 3-6, 6-2, 6-4. So it really is one of those things that it happens. And for Siegemund, she was upset after. She felt kind of, like she was attacked by the crowd kind of thing. But the fact that she was being penalized for not being ready on the serve, I totally understand why fans were upset. And the announcers, they're American announcers, but the U.S. Open announcers were totally understanding why Goff was upset. Now, Goff is apparently a fast server as well, which does play into it. Like, not everybody serves at the same rate. So she's up at the line and ready to go immediately. But you kind of have to know that. These tennis players, they have coaches who I'm sure pre-scout. I'm sure Siegemund was told, hey, Goff likes to be ready right away. And it might have been part of the game plan to, we'll take our time. I'll meander a little bit. I'll get to the line when I get there. Now, I'm not saying she did that, but she could try that. And that would lead to point penalties. So it's easy to just look at the presser where she's crying after and say, that's too bad. And I'm not happy that she's crying after the match either. I do feel for her, but at the same time, I understand why the penalties happened, and I totally understand why the crowd, very pro-American crowd, is not going to be happy to have a match go on that long. I know, too, with what I was watching, and then they said, 2 hours and 21 minutes into this match, and I was like, 2 hours and 21 minutes? And it was just near the start of the third set? If this had been best out of 5, they might still be playing, and this game was yesterday. So, really, tennis, a similar situation to baseball, trying to speed up the game a little bit. And, yeah, that's part and parcel. And yes, U.S. Open fans can be vicious. They can be brutal. That's part of it as well. But also, you get paid really, really well for being at the U.S. Open. So, there's that part. So Damar Hamlin has made it onto the Bills roster. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Great news for him and for the Bills. The Bills seen as one of the top teams in the AFC, and they might have a shot at a Super Bowl. I would be very happy to see Buffalo win a Super Bowl, same as I would be if they won a Stanley Cup. Buffalo has gone through some things. And of course, the Bills organization and the Sabres organization now are completely separate. The Pagula is making that decision to make sure the Bills and the Sabres are not run by the same entity, and I think that's for the best too. And we'll see how it works out for the Bills, but they will have Damar Hamlin on their team. Good for him. The Yankees making some news today. They've released Josh Donaldson of Blue Jays fame. So it gets press in Canada because he's a famous Blue Jay. But at this point in time, he's 37 years of age. His batting average 142 and his on-base percentage 225. So the saying is basically if you're batting below your weight, that's not a great look for you. And the on-base percentage of 225, he's not getting on base enough. I do find it interesting with baseball. The on-base percentage gets way more press now than it did 40 years ago. Back then it was just, slugging got some discussion, but really it was about batting average and home runs. We love the home runs. All the home runs. Need more home runs. We don't care if you only got one run with the home run. It's a home run. For Josh Donaldson, we'll see if that's the end of the line for him. But he has been released by the New York Yankees. And the NFL season starting up. The Chiefs, number one on a couple of power rankings I was looking at. And both of those power rankings had the Bengals and the Chargers in the top 10. I will say that as a fan of the Bengals and the Chargers, it's kind of exciting having good young quarterbacks on both teams and seeing both of them ranked pretty highly. They're both, of course, out of the AFC, so the opportunity for them to play against each other in the playoffs is there. So we'll see how the Bengals and Chargers do. I don't get as much time to pay attention to the NFL as I used to. The Hockey Channel does eat up a lot of my time, starting with early October, late September. So it does make it very difficult for me to follow the NFL like I did a few years back. But, good on the Chiefs being number one in these power rankings because, when you win, that's what everybody remembers. And we'll see whether or not the Chiefs can win again this year. Definitely an argument for Mahomes now being the next guy with Brady gone. Brady's still gone, right? Brady hasn't come back yet. He's going to. We're all going to act surprised when all of a sudden he just shows up in like week 6 somewhere. But anyways, I really think for Brady, just that competitive feeling's going to take over at some point. He's going to be out there playing. I don't even know if he could sit and watch a high school game. Be like, yeah, screw this. I'll do it. Give me the ball. I'll do it. Give me the ball. I can't watch this. I can't watch this. You can't run a route. You go over and sit down. Anyways, now people want to see Brady against high school kids, right? Absolutely. Anyways, the Chiefs being number one, the Bengals and the Chargers being in the running. It's fun. The other thing that's fun too is seeing the Detroit Lions relevant. The Lions have been not very relevant for a long time. And of course, there's some excitement with the New York Jets having Aaron Rodgers. We'll see whether or not that translates to success both in the regular season. And then if they make the postseason, well, that's going to be interesting, right? Because it's the New York Jets. We haven't seen a lot of success with the Jets in terms of a postseason run in, I want to say, forever. It's been a long time. But the NFL season getting started up. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video and your opinion of, and you know what, I'll extend this to baseball as well. With tennis and baseball having these penalties, how much does that take the psychological game out? The gamesmanship, in one case between pitcher and batter, and in the other case between two people on a tennis court with one trying to get in the head of the other. Definitely having these point penalties, I think, takes some of that away. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.